All right, let's get started, Charlie. So, Charlie, I'm not right in front of my computer. I'm in a conference room with Lisa, so I might be no, I guess I can read it.
Okay.
I was going to say it might be harder for me to read. It's a little farther away, so I might ask you to do it. Actually, why don't you just do the accessibility statement stuff, Charlie, if you would? Is that okay?
Yeah, absolutely. Stand by. This meeting is accessible to people with disabilities. Microphones or telephones will be used by all speakers. If you'd like any of these accommodations, please contact Mary Waldron at 508-583-1833. The Notice of Non-Discrimination Rights and Protections to Beneficiaries with regard to the Federal Title VI Non-Discrimination Protections and the State Non-Discrimination Protections is included on this meeting agenda and is also available on the Old Colony Planning Council website at https://oldcolonyplanning.org/. Please contact Mary Waldron at 508-583-1833 for more information. Thank you.
Is it just me, or could Charlie be on NPR?
It could be.
Definitely on
Could be,
MPO.
totally. Hey, before we go to public comments, just welcome everyone to the MPO meeting today. We need to read the roll. So, Charlie, you want to do the roll?
Yes, Chair. Steve Wolfel.
Steve Wolfel, representing Secretary and CEO of MassDOT. Monica Tibbetts-Nutt here.
Thank you. Sandra Serpa.
Sandra Serpa from MassDOT District 5, representing Administrator Gulliver.
Great, thank you. John Messia, representing Mayor Sullivan.
John Messia, Mayor Sullivan's office, City Hall of Brockton.
Thank you. Lee Hartman.
Lee Hartman, representing the Dickie Quintal, Chairman, Select Board, Town of Plymouth.
We have a representative from West Bridgewater. Okay. Dan Salvucci, Whitman.
Dan Salvucci, I'm here.
Michael Lambert, Brockton Area Transit.
Here, along with Glenn Geiler and Kelly Forster.
Thank you. And Mary Waldron, Old Colony Planning Council.
Thank you, Charlie. And I believe Linda Sacchetti is also on, Michael, but Mary Waldron, representing Chair of the Old Colony Planning Council, Becky Coletta.
Great, Chair. We do have a quorum.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Welcome again. I'll move to agenda item 2, public comments. Are there any members of the public like to address the MPO today? All right. Seeing none, we will move to agenda item 3, which is potential endorsement of the minutes of October 17th. Can I get a motion and second to approve?
I'll make a motion, Dan Salvucci.
Lee Hartman, second.
All right. Any questions, changes to the minutes? Seeing none. Charlie, you want to read the roll?
Yes, Steve Wolfel.
Yes.
Sandra Serpa.
Abstain.
John Messia.
Yes.
Lee Hartman.
Yes.
Dan Salvucci.
Yes.
Michael Lambert.
Yes.
Mary Waldron.
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for that. I'll move on to agenda item 4, which is the report from the Brockton Area Transit. Michael, take it away.
Thank you, Chair. Good news to report from that. October saw our highest monthly ridership since COVID hit us. But not only that, we surpassed our old mark by 20,000 trips. So it shows a real jump up in terms of ridership as activity starts to grow around the region. We have a good plan in place to try and boost that even further. Starting in November, we doubled both Saturday and Sunday service by increasing our frequencies on Saturday and offering Sunday morning service for the first time. That has shown real growth in Sundays since we did that. We also, thanks to a grant from the state, will be running free fares for 6 months from December 1st through May. So that's an opportunity for people who've not previously tried transit to hop on the bus as they see it go by, and then also obviously to provide a benefit to our current customers. We also will have a few more tweaks and expansions to roll out over the next year or so. And then finally, as many of you know, this will be Glenn Geiler's last Old Colony MPO meeting. You may see her again in a Boston MPO meeting as she is going to work for the MBTA. But we thank her for her long years of service and hard work on behalf of the city and our customers.
All right, any questions for Michael? All right, thank you, Michael, and congratulations, Glenn. I'm sure I'll be seeing you around the building, so. Thank you for that. All right, we'll move on to agenda 5, which is an update from GATRA. Is anyone from GATRA on? I'm assuming no, because we haven't heard anyone. So Charlie, ready to move to agenda item 6? You good?
Yes.
All right, let's do agenda item 6, which is Master District 5 updates. And Sandra, are you doing this?
Hi, Mr. Chair. This is Barbara.
Oh, Barbara, you're here. Okay, Barbara,
I am
take it
here.
away.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. Barbara LaChance from District 5. Give you some updates on our projects we have here. So the 2 Stoughton projects in 23, which is the 138 Phase 1 and the Canton Central and Tosca. Bids have been open for both of those, but not awarded yet on those. Brockton, 123 at Plymouth Street is the ICE review has been completed for that, and we're moving towards setting up a utility site walk for that project. Brockton 123 Carrion Lyman. The district has finished their PS&E review for this project, was completed in October. Let's see. Next we have Stoughton corridor improvements. Let's see, 138 Canton to Charles. This is phase 2. As far as we know, it's still in the scope and fee. That's the last thing we've seen on it. I'm assuming that headquarters will be reaching out shortly to continue moving forward with this project. Brockton Grove Summer replacement of the Grove Street Bridge project currently is at 25s. It's in ICE review right now, ICE stage 1 and stage 2. I guess there was a little mix up with there, so they have both of them in for current review. They came in early November and are under review by the district. 138 intersection improvements at Washington, which is 138 now. It's currently PS&E submission is anticipated mid-December this year. Let's see, Abington, Hancock, and Chestnut Streets. It's currently at 75s. We do need a new schedule for this project. We haven't had one in quite a while, and we are awaiting the 75% submission. Kingston Duxbury intersection improvements. This is the northbound Route 3 northbound and southbound ramps at 3A. Is currently in ICE stage 1 came in the 16th of November and is currently under review. Avon intersection improvements. This is Route 28 at Spring and Harrison. Let's see, it's currently less than 25%. Design submission was received early November and is currently under review for that. We also need a schedule for this project too. Brockton Abington, the ped and bike improvements on 123. Is currently under ICE review. Stage 2 was received at the end of October and is currently under review right now. Hanson, this is Route 14 from the Pembroke Town Line, Indian Head Street. We're currently waiting for the suit to be scheduled for this project. Still waiting on that. Yeah, waiting for some updates on that project. Abington, Randolph, and Randolph Fitz Road Drive, which is 139 at Chestnut and Old Randolph Streets. It's currently less than 25. We're in the ICE revision 2. Review was completed for that actually in August, and we anticipate the 25s in February of 24 for that project. Hanover, 139 at Main Center and Silver Streets. This is in the less than 25% design phase right now. We're doing the ICE reviews. Stage 1 Rev 1 was completed. Hopefully we'll see the 25s in spring of 24. Brockton 123 at Pearl and Stonehill is currently less than 25%. We do anticipate the 25s in May of next year, and we do have a coordination meeting scheduled for December 8th. I'm not sure what that entails, but it is a coordination meeting coming up for that one. Abington, Route 18 at Route 123. It's currently less than 25% complete for this project also. And we just finished up the scoping checklist in end of October for that project. And the last one I have is Canton Street, this is Stoughton Canton Street, which is Route 27 at School and Summer Streets, is also less than 25. And we have the ICE Stage 1 Rev 3 came in at the end of October and is currently under review. So a lot of work going on.
All right, any questions for Barbara?
Yeah, Dan Salvucci, I have one. On the Route 14
Okay.
in Hanson. I don't know if Don Howard is on this at this meeting, but if he's not, I'd like to contact him. Where we stand where that will be started, the process, as far as being repaired, maybe in the summer or the spring? Is that what we're thinking?
I honestly don't know on this one. I know that's the latest information that I have, Dan, is that we're still waiting for the suit to be scheduled
So,
for that project. I guess
So-
there's issues with the water main.
right, but I mean, there
Being
was
old.
also, right, both towns, you know, Hanson was set, but the, I think it was Rockland and Pembroke, whatever, had to make a decision because if they're gonna dig in the street, they're gonna replace the piping and stuff, whether or not they had the funding for that. And it just put a stop on the project for the
Mm.
last 6
Mhm.
years, I think.
Yeah, if I
A
may.
long time. And I'd like to, you know, if we're looking at good news, I'd call Don at his house and let him know. So we're waiting for that process to be scheduled as far as starting the repairs. Is that what we're saying?
Well, I think they have to start the exploration first of the
Yeah.
and decisions need to be made on that. I mean, I can reach out to the PM if you like and see if I can get more information on it to
Yeah,
find out what's going on.
right, if we can
Because
let.
it's been a while, you know,
Yeah,
that
because
we've,
Don Howard's is a water commissioner there in Hanson. And he'd like, you know the progress of where it is. I mean, he's been fighting for that
Yeah.
job to be completed for the last 6-7 years. I mean, it's been the towns have not come together and part of what they need to get done so that can be done.
Mhm.
Uh,
So what
and-
I'll do, Dan, is I will reach out to the project manager and see what I can get, and I will forward the information to Charlie and to Bill so that they can pass it down.
Down the drive. Thank you very
Thank you.
much.
All right, you're welcome.
All right, thank you, Barbara. With that, Charlie?
So, thank you, Chair. We had a question for the district with regard to the ongoing Belmont Street Phase 3 construction project. The final paving's down and they had the temporary striping. We were wondering if there was a ETA on when this project will be completed. Looks like it would probably be this fall.
Right now, let's see. Verizon says that they're complete with all their stuff out there. The signals have been installed at all the locations and they should be up and running. I think contractor says they're continuing laying out before the striping, and that was as of November 14th. So I guess their work is dependent upon temperatures that they're going to be doing. I know the final completion date, Charlie, is July of 24. So
Okay.
that's the final date. Hopefully it'll be done like well before that, but that's our date right now. So I can see if I can get, if you'd like more information, I can reach out to our construction section and see if they have a little bit more info on that.
Yeah, that would be very much appreciated if we kind of have like an end date from the resident engineer, for example, and the contractor on when this would be buttoned up. And we understand that there was a project delay because there was
Yep.
some asbestos found and there was some
Mhm.
re-engineering and design that needed to be done. But, thankful to see the project moving ahead. I think it will be a real benefit to the city and bike and ped and all users.
Agreed.
Through the chair, we actually had a follow-up question as well.
Sure.
Barbara, you had mentioned the coordination meeting on December 8th
Mhm.
with regard to the Belmont, Stonehill, and Pearl. Is that an internal MassDOT meeting or is that something with a municipality like Brockton, for example?
I am not sure, Charlie. I'm not quite sure. I mean, I've never quite seen it putting on notes like that. Coordination meeting. I don't know what that entails. And I can also find out more information on that one for you guys too, to see who's involved
Okay,
with that.
great.
I mean, it could be an internal one. I'm not quite sure.
Mhm.
But I will definitely let you know.
Yeah, great. I know there was a very successful kickoff meeting a couple months ago
Yes.
with multiple stakeholders and project is very well received.
All
Yeah,
right,
that's a-
anyone
that's
else
a
have
great
any questions
project.
for Barbara? All right, thank you, Barbara.
Thank you.
Thank you for following up on those items, so I appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
All right, we're on to agenda item 7, which is potential approval. We have some 2024-2028 tip item. So Bill, take it away.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So if you recall, at your last MPO meeting, we released a Amendment 1 of the FFY 2024 to 2028 tip. So that went out to a 21-day public review and comment period, which has since concluded. And and in that time, we've also had an adjustment pop up as well. So we're going to walk through those today and hopefully get endorsements. So I'll just kind of walk through. It has Amendment 1 has been revised quite a bit, so I'll walk through the changes here. So if you want to go next page. So Brockton Area Transit purchase of miscellaneous power and equipment. This was a project that had been programmed originally in FF 2023. That tip had been amended, and this project had been amended out with the intention of going into 2024. Brockton Area Transit is no longer pursuing that project, as that project's essentially what was going to be done with that project is being taken care of by Brockton's NOLO grant, which I'm going to talk about in a moment. So, so we are removing that project from this amendment. Then the next one, see Brockton Area Transit, purchase of battery electric buses and charging equipment. So this was a total of the federal award was a total of $10,694,736. That did not include the state match, and so you can see in your screen the total project cost with the state match is $17,144,736, and that is so you can see on your screen a table, and so this table shows how this grant is being split out. So that was another comment that was received during the public review and comment period from Rarisa Kwame from OTP, and that was based on conversations with Josh Barber at Federal Highway Administration, and that this project should really be well, it needed to reflect the total cost with the state match. So we've since done that. So you can see that, as I mentioned, the total is now reflected 17 million and change. In conversation with Brockton Area Transit, that this project should be broken into two separate components. So in the first part of the table, the top part of the table, you can see there is a component there for charging equipment and training. So this is so for the actual electrical charging equipment for the buses, and also training workforce to basically operate that equipment and also maintain new electric buses being purchased. So you can see in 2024, the federal amount for that component is $3,280,000, and then in the following years, in 2025, 2026, and 2027, there are state match components. And then in the bottom half of the table, that's the part where we're actually purchasing the electric buses. So with that component of that grant in this federal money in 2024 for $7,414,736, and with state matches being programmed in 2026 and 2027 for a total of $11,714,736 for the buses. So that so Amendment 1 has been revised to reflect these changes for both the splitting out into these two separate components, as well as including the state matches.
All right, so
I'm sorry. I want to go to the next page. So I'll moving on. So the we had a grant in the for a culvert replacement in the town of Plymouth. The original Amendment 1 was that it reflected only the federal amount of $2 million. Conversations with Federal Highway Administration said that amount should be the total project cost with the federal award plus the local match of 800,000. So that amount has been changed to $2,800,000, and that is reflected in the amendment. And then finally, we have the raise grant in the city of Brockton. That was the one that was perfectly presented in the original draft Amendment 1. So that is unchanged. And I think that's it for Amendment 1.
All right, can I get a motion, a second to endorse with the changes as specified by Bill this morning?
I'll motion Dan Salvucci, Whitman.
Lee Hartman, second.
All right, any questions for Bill on that?
No.
All right, Charlie, you want to read the roll, please?
Steve Wolfle,
Yes.
Sandra Serpa,
Yes.
John Messiah,
Yes.
Lee Hartman,
Yes.
Dan Salvucci,
Yes.
Michael Lambert,
Yes.
Mary Waldron.
Yes,
Chair, motion passes unanimous. Thank you.
All right, so Bill, I believe we have an adjustment too, correct?
That's correct.
All right, take it away.
All right. So this is just the content matrix for Amendment 1. So if you want to go
Next
through
slide.
it. Yep. Thank you. So adjustment 1. So you may recall there was a community transit grant awards to 3 projects in the region in the latter half of 2023. The federal components of those grants had been programmed, and so as such, we need to program the state match as well. So on your screen, you can see the 3 projects here. 2 for Brockton area transit, 1 for Brockton area arc. So the first one, see a state for the purchase of a van for service expansion for Brockton area arc. There's a state match being programmed of $55,363 in the for Brockton area transit replacement of type E2B vans, state match being programmed of $63,600, and then also for Brockton area transit, purchase of replacement CA van, and the total on that is total state match for that is $24,200. As these are state funds and not federal funds, this does not require a public review and comment period as an amendment would. So this is just an adjustment.
All right, can I get a motion, a second to approve adjustment 1, please?
I'll make that motion, Dan Salvucci, Whitman.
Mary Waldron, second.
Any questions for Bill? All right, seeing none. Charlie, you want to read the roll?
Yes, Steve Wolfle,
Yes.
Sandra Serpa,
Yes.
John Messiah,
Yes.
Lee Hartman,
Yes.
Dan Salvucci,
Yes.
Michael Lambert,
Yes.
Mary Waldron.
Yes,
Chair, motion carries unanimous. Thank you.
All right, thank you, everybody. Thank you, Bill.
Thank you.
We'll move on to the next agenda item, which is agenda 8, which is adjusted 2020 urbanized area boundaries. Presentation, discussion, proposed adjustments and revisions to the boundaries. I know that Charlie and Raisa are going to work on this together, so I think Raisa, you're going to kick it off, correct?
Yes.
All right.
So thank you, everyone. So the 2020 census was undertaken recently, and data was published for the urbanized area boundaries, which have been updated as part of the 2020 census update. The Federal Highway Administration, in coordination with us at the state, and regional planning partners are asking for comments before the end of the calendar year. We set an internal deadline of mid-November to hear from our regional and municipal partners to ensure sufficient time to meet the federal deadline. Note that the process of determination to adjust an urban area boundary and submit to FHWA for approval is a state and local decision that should be made cooperatively between state and local officials and MPOs if the boundary is located within an MPO's metropolitan planning area. At the Office of Transportation Planning, the GIS Services Group is working on mapping urbanized areas and is looking for feedback from municipalities and RPAs on whether the census urbanized area geographies are consistent with what stakeholders are seeing on the ground, taking into account future needs and potential population growth due to activities such as redevelopment. Urbanized area information is used for activities like grant eligibility, roadway classification, and may impact federal funding formulas. I will now turn it over to OCPC staff to provide more details as far as what is being proposed.
All right, thanks, Raisa. Charlie, are you handling this yourself or someone else?
Yes, thank you,
All
Chair.
right, take it away, Charlie.
So on your slide, you can see some bullet points on a high-level overview of what the urbanized area criteria is. And Kyle, next slide, please. And here is as Raisa introduced this topic and talked about what we're actually doing is if you had just mapped out the urban block groups, it would be really blocky and choppy. So this is a part where MassDOT and the MPOs are working collaboratively to define, review, and confirm adjusted area boundaries. And some people over the years referred to this as like a smoothing of the boundaries. And as Raisa talked about, we wanted to identify any areas that were still rural that might include significant traffic generators such as land use development, industrial parks, airports, etc. So in the Old Colony region, we actually had two specific areas that were looking to go from rural to urban classification. And if we could go to the next slide, please. So this is area number one. You can see the forested area that's currently designated as rural, and the surrounding geography is urban. So the proposal with this one is to designate the Route 44 corridor and its periphery as urban while maintaining the rural nature to the north and south of the Route 44 corridor. This proposal would maintain consistency in the functional classification and urban designation of Route 44. Now, as you may know, there are some questions about the redevelopment of the Sacred Heart High School property. There's a proposal by Thorndike Development to redevelop that in terms of putting in a, say, a 600 unit mixed use development with mixed use of housing types such as single family residential apartments, etc. However, the town has weighed in and we concur that there are issues with available infrastructure. Currently, there's a moratorium on water and sewer. So there's questions about the viability of that actual project. Number two, there will have to be actually a rezoning at town meeting of that property site for any type of development to continue. So it's staff's recommendation at this point to not make this whole area as urban, as the status of the Thorndike redevelopment is still to be determined and unknown at this point. Next slide. And on this slide, you can see, kind of the eastern part of Massachusetts and the two main areas. One is like the pinkish area, that's the Barnstable urbanized area, and the kind of the melon color area, that's the Boston urbanized area. And what you see in the white blocks within those two areas are the areas that are currently rural. Everything else is urban. So you can see in Kingston, that was that area where that redevelopment was proposed. And then this one focuses on Plymouth. You can see that white area to the northern part of Plymouth. And what that is the area just south of where Sirius Cycles is on Route 3 in the Pine Hills as you go over by the former power plant. And that's rural, but you can see the cross-hashed areas with the dash lines in blue. And what that is that's proposed to go from rural to urban, and that would make it consistent with the ongoing Pine Hills development in the Long Ridge Road area. And the eastern border of that polygon is actually Beaver Dam Road. And the idea here is to capture the infill development that's happened along Beaver Dam Road, basically going up to Minuteman Lane. And this would show this as urban instead of rural. So, you know, staff looked at this and looked at the geography and the existing development and development that's ongoing in Pine Hills, and believe that this was a reasonable addition to the urbanized area to make that cross-hashed area urban. So those were the two changes that we have before us today, and we'd certainly entertain any discussion, and upon successful discussion, I would entertain a motion from the MPO.
All right, anyone have any questions for either Raisa or Charlie? All right.
I'll
Is
make a
someone willing
motion.
to- All right, go ahead, Mary.
I make a motion that we accept the report and the recommendations.
I'll second it, Dan from Whitman.
All right, last chance, any questions? All right, Charlie, you want to read the roll?
Yes, Steve Wolfle,
Yes.
Sandra Serpa,
Yes.
John Messia,
Yes.
Lee Hartman,
Yes.
Dan Salvucci,
Yes,
Michael Lambert,
Yes.
and Mary Waldron.
Yes,
Motion carries. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Charlie and Raisa, for that one. We'll move on to agenda item 9, which is administrative matters, other business, and date and time of next meeting. Charlie?
Yes, thank you, Chair. So we have a couple items for the MPO's information and then also an upcoming meeting schedule. The first item to have on your radar screen, if you will, is a Safe Routes to School webinar for municipalities. And this is scheduled for January 24th from 12 to 1 p.m. and it's virtual, and it's nice to see events like this in multiple communities joining the Safe Routes to School program, and ultimately this planning results in infrastructure improvements. So we encourage municipalities to attend if interested. Next slide. Next up is MassDOT has announced the FY 2024 Regional Transit Innovation Grant, and this is a discretionary grant, and this is for public providers of transportation, and they're looking for innovative service delivery programs, and delivery date for applications on this is December 8th of next month. And if you scroll through here, you can see some eligible project types. Next slide. And last but not least, whether you're looking at the local or the national news, you can see the benefits of the bipartisan infrastructure law. There was actually a story last night on WBZ Channel 4 about the 3 top MassDOT priority projects for the upcoming 2024 year. And it talked about how these projects were made available as a result of the extra funding provided by the bipartisan infrastructure law. And actually in the news story, we appreciate the shout out from the report MassDOT to regional planning program. So we thought that was a nice touch on that story on TV. But speaking of the bipartisan infrastructure law, you might be wondering, it's like, hey, we heard all about this. How do we know when these grants are available, and where can we find information on that? And one easy to find dashboard. And as luck would have it, our colleagues at the Association of Metropolitan Planning Organizations, affectionately known as AMPO, has a live notice of funding opportunity tracker for BIL programs. And there's a hyperlink there in your staff report. So we encourage interested parties to visit that site and check it out, as there are many opportunities. And just reflecting back on Bill McNulty's staff report on the TIP amendment, just a shout out to the town of Plymouth. Note that National Culvert infrastructure award was the only one in Massachusetts. So kudos to Plymouth and all the hard work that they've been doing. Next slide. So we have a menu of save the dates for MPO meetings. As you know, the MPO is scheduled to meet the third Tuesday of the month at 10 a.m. and it's virtual. I did include a 2023 date for December 19th, just in the event that there was any action items for additional tip items. But given the successful approval of Amendment 1, we don't foresee the actual need for a December meeting. But going into 2024, you can see the MPO will be very busy January through June. And as that is the cycle for when we develop the 3C documents, such as the UPWP, Unified Planning Work Program, and the Transportation Improvement Program. And I would note that the Transportation Improvement Program typically goes out for public review in April and is endorsed in May. So these are important dates to have in mind for MPO members as we're developing these important programs. But that's what we had for a schedule update, and certainly if there are questions from the folks on the call today, please let us know, or we can entertain any questions and provide feedback.
All right, anyone have any questions on any of the points brought up by Charlie? It looks like we will not have a December 19th meeting, so people should make note of that. Any questions?
All right, so that'll be canceled, the 19th.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Wow.
And I'd just like to reflect through the chair that extreme appreciation from the staff here at OCPC to the MPO members and attendees that this has been our busiest MPO year ever. We've had 11 MPO meetings, so appreciate the enthusiasm and the attendance and helping us move through the Metropolitan planning process. So, you know, we send a sincere thank you to the MPO signatories for attending.
Question?
Rick
Yes.
has, yep, there we go.
Yep, go ahead, Rick.
Hello, Rick Jordan, Avon. Some of the URLs in your briefing could be useful. Are you sending out your PowerPoint or?
Yes, Rick, we will be doing that. And it's also, it's great that you asked. We also posted the staff reports on our website too, and we'll send you a link to that. And
Okay, thank you.
same with the MPO and all of our JTC stuff. The staff reports are posted.
All right, any other questions?
No, just that Rick is one of the newer members and to welcome him to these meetings as the, from the town of Avon. So, and if you haven't received it, we do have our summit that is coming up in December. If you have not responded, we'd love to see you. But happy Thanksgiving to everyone.
Thank you.
All
I
right.
plan to attend. Thank you.
All right, yeah, welcome, Rick, from the chair as well. All right, so any other points, questions anyone has? All right, seeing none, can I get a motion second to adjourn?
So moved, Dan from Whitman.
Second,
Lee
Mary.
Hartman, second.
All right, all in favor of adjourning, please say aye.
Aye.
All right, everybody, well, please have a happy Thanksgiving, as Mary said. Be safe this week and any of your travels, and I guess we'll see you in the new year. So have a good rest of the holiday season. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
You as
Okay.
well.
Thank you. Happy
you.
Thanksgiving, everyone.